Pinkies up. A good tea party is more than dainty sandwiches and scones. It's best served with proper etiquette and a little American history. Let's welcome Paige Crone, co-chair of events for the Motte Chapter of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, and Darren Hartford, owner of local tea purveyor Oliver Pluff Company. Great to have you both with us.
Thank you, Layla.
So what brings you to our studio today, Paige?
Well, we're excited to celebrate and commemorate the 250th year anniversary of the Charleston Tea Party that was before the Boston Tea Party, by the way.
Isn't that something?
Yes, so December 3rd is the big day. We can't believe 250 years ago we were confiscating that tea and putting it in the Exchange building.
Yeah, a lot of people know about the Boston Tea Party and the big event of the single night of December 16th, 1773.
Yeah.
But a couple of weeks before that, Charleston merchants decided they'd have their own tea party. The Sons of Liberty, all of the colonies, decided that importation of tea was not going to happen. And so in December 3rd, the ship London came with tea. And the Charleston merchants decided, hey, we're not going to accept that tea.
Yeah.
And they put it in the Exchange.
And isn't that, let me just interrupt you for one quick second, because unlike Boston, Charleston is known for its gentility, isn't it? So they didn't exactly dump it in the harbor.
Not the first time around, no.
Waste not, want not. They held on to it.
They hung on to it because they were worried about the monopoly that the Tea Act caused. And that no merchant could import their own tea. They had to import it through the British East India Company.
So interesting. I love our history here, and to know that Charleston was the first. We love our first.
Yes, and we were smart enough to store it and then sell it later on for our colonial efforts.
Now, the next year, 1774, they did follow suit of all the other tea parties at the time and throw it in the harbor.
They did, yeah. Well, they saw Boston do it 2 weeks after we held on to it.
And they got all the headlines.
Exactly. So news eventually got up to Boston, back down again. But there is a proper way in which to enjoy tea, and that's what I want to talk to you about, Paige, because we just think, oh, you just stick a tea bag in a cup, pour hot water, and there you go. But it's a little bit more than that.
Well, you certainly could go that route.
Sure.
But when we celebrate the tea ceremony, we love to bring out our fine things. At Charleston Protocol, y'all, we always say, bring out your finery, use it every day, don't let it live in your break front.
Guilty.
So break out that stuff.
Yes.
It's good to do for the holidays, get started. So you start with a lovely gallery tray and a lovely teapot, which you will probably not use a tea bag. You probably use loose tea that we would brew and pour in a lovely teapot like this and let it steep. And then, because we've got loose tea that could have leaves, we would put a strainer on top of the teapot so that when we pour the tea, we don't get the leaves in our tea.
Of course.
And
cream is part of the experience as well. That's how the British do it.
So
not so much of an American thing.
Well, you can do
milk for British. Cream is more of Americans.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So the British love milk.
Yes.
And it is lighter, so I prefer it with my tea. Or lemon and sugar. So you can do sugar and milk, or sugar and lemon, but never lemon and milk, because it would curdle.
Oh, interesting. Yes, it would, wouldn't it?
So don't make that faux pas.
No, you have to know a little bit of chemistry when you're pouring yourself some tea. And talk a little bit about some of the older teas and what makes a good tea.
A good tea party starts with good tea.
Yeah. Yes.
And a good loose leaf tea. Now, in the 1700s, tea was still somewhat new. It was very popular. It came, England and Europe celebrated it in the 1600s, so by the 1700s, the colonists knew and loved their teas. Boohee tea was the most popular tea in early America. It was so popular you'd go into a shop and ask for a cup of boohee, and they'd give you whatever they had.
So what does that taste like?
So what we've recreated, what it tastes like, it's kind of like whatever was left over in the warehouse. So it's a little bit of, it has some smoke to it.
Sounds delicious.
Smoky.
Well, it actually is. It's a very smoky tea, and it has just a lot of complexities and flavors to it, because you can get the smoke out of it, but you also just get a nice, gorgeous cup of tea.
And can we talk a bit about the culture real quick, because tea, of course, has been drunk in East Asia and throughout other parts of Asia and Europe, such as Turkey and other places. So what is it about the culture of drinking tea that is so important that we need to remember for ourselves here and enjoy it?
Well, I would say we have to remember that back in the 1830s, we started the tea ceremony as we know today. Lady Anne Bedford, who was the Duchess of Bedford, she was a noble woman. So, you know, the nobility didn't eat supper until 8 o'clock at night. So she would get a little faint around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she would ask her servants to bring her some tea and a light bite to eat. So she would do this ritual every day, and before you knew it, she would include her friends. It was the hottest ticket invitation in London. And all this led to a wonderful ceremony that we know today, but it was really amazing for what it did for women. Because all of a sudden they had these tea houses popping up all over London, all over England, and it was really one of the only places that women could go without the accompaniment of a man.
And also, when you're drinking tea as opposed to something alcoholic, it keeps you sober. It gives you a little boost of energy as well because of the caffeine. But it's a way to bring people together, and that is what it has done all over the world since the invention of tea. Now, for people who would like more information on where to find your beautiful teas, where should they go?
They should go to my website, oliverpluff.com.
Wonderful. And for the Daughters of the American Revolution, and also etiquette protocol,
Charleston Protocol.
Charleston Protocol, y'all. Where do they find that information?
Well, Charleston Protocol, y'all, on Facebook and Instagram. You can just follow us there, and we love to talk about using your nice things. And but also, if you don't have nice things, don't go out and buy them. We show you how to recreate and use what you have and love what you are doing with that.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leila.
We'll be back after this.